Lucas here with what I call Super Sundays, but as you can tell, there is a new person going to be recording, Dustin. He's going to be recording on Sundays, not with me, but he's going to do it in the mornings. I'm going to do it in the afternoons now. This week's theme is going to be what to do when. Everyone's going to be doing a video. I chose it, the theme this week. It's going to be what to do when, like what to do when you get lost in the mall or something. Mine is going to be what to do when your parents get a divorce. Now that's a very interesting topic because I realize with my generation, not so much my parents' generation, but my generation, I think some of my parents' generation too, there's been a lot of divorces, parents divorcing, meeting, new people. I mean, with my personal experience, my parents are divorced. I'm at my dad's house right now that's why the background's a little, if you notice the house shape's a little different. I was at my mom's house before. It's kind of hectic right now because of everything that's going on. But there's a couple different possibilities that could happen if your parents got a divorce. Oops. For instance, there's many different ways your parents would get a divorce. There's, simple ones, or there's, not so good ones. The first one I want to talk about is your parents, they just drift apart, they've been together since, maybe high school, or maybe they were in their 20s, they were together for a bunch of years, and then, the spark just doesn't ignite, they tried to make it work, but they just couldn't. Doesn't mean they hate each other, that just means they drift apart. Then you are probably in luck, because then you get to see both of them equally, or something. Your parents aren't fighting over stuff, whose stuff's whose, when they leave, Obviously they'd have to go to court for the divorce. I think you do. I'm not sure if you have to for every divorce. I think you do, but I'm not sure. Then you're in the clear. The second possibility that happens is your parents, they just stopped, they stopped loving, they started, just starting hating each other. Like, your dad doesn't spend enough time with your mom, or say your mom just doesn't, or just ignores people, or your mom's working her butt off and your dad's sitting there doing nothing. Then there's a possibility that when they do get the divorce, there's going to be some hectic in the beginning about who's with who. Just a lot. The third possibility that could happen is your dad or your mom cheats. Honestly, cheating is the stupidest thing you can do. If you don't love someone, I could understand if you're really, I really couldn't understand, but, you were flat out drunk or something, and then you did it. Honestly, there's no excuse there, but still, the fact is you were drunk. But, still there's no reason for you to do that. But one of your parents cheats on the other, then that's just, your parents are going to be so at each other. There's going to be fighting. There's going to be a lot of bull that goes with it. I'm just saying. I know a lot of this from experience. My parents, when they got a divorce, it was a little crazy at first, but then we kind of got used to it. You gotta go with the flow. Anyway, what is this? Oh, yeah. That's about what would happen, why they got the divorce. Now, after the divorce, there's going to be some more hectic, because instead of having one household with one of everything, you're going to have two households with two of everything. Now, depending on which parent moves out, depends on where you're going to have to start at with that parent. Per se, your mom leaves your dad, or they agree, one leaves, then and your mom finds her own place, but, you know, you're not going to really have a lot because if you didn't get, because if your parents do what my parents did and got shared custody, then most likely, well, all my stuff ended up staying at my dad's house and then went over to my mom. And then, well, it's gradually been going, some's been going to my mom's because I've been bringing it there for reasons, but your your mom moves out, and then, you know, you're really don't have a lot. You know, you're probably going to end up sleeping on, well, actually, when your mom or dad first moves out, they probably would be staying with a friend or something, so you'd be staying with them when you go over there. My parents have always stayed in close proximity to each other, so it's easy to get back and forth. So, I mean, your parents could do that, or they could do something different. But if they have shared custody, they can only be, like, if my mom wanted to move, she can move literally 2 hours away from where my dad's at, and that's fine. There's another thing if this is like totally different. So if your parents were, say, say your dad cheated on your mom, then you would then say your dad cheated on your mom goes to court for divorce and, you know, sues him. Your mom could possibly sue him for everything. She could sue him for the house, for the full custody of you and your other brothers and sisters, everything. Or she can. It'll take a lot of fighting, but she can make your dad give her all of, you know, take whatever she wants to, make him kick him out, and then she can sell the house and move, you know, for the money. Another thing is that you could, if your parents just, you know, drift off or something like that, they can both agree to sell, because they each get a half portion of the house if they sell it sharedly. Half the value of the house is each of theirs. They can both agree to sell the house and earn that half of it. So say your house is like worth, say, $200,000. Now each parent will get $100,000, and that's it. Obviously, my parents didn't do that. This is, you know, I've been in this house since I was born. But yeah. So if your parents got divorced, there's, you know, the three possibilities of why they got divorced. I mean, usually they won't tell you until a little after. There's what would happen, you know, if they would the living situation. Now it's gonna be different for everybody. You know, I can't predict what, you know, if your parents got divorced, how it would be like for you. It can be completely different. For me, when it first happened, I was told, you know, my mom wanted to be, you know, 18 again. You know, she wanted to live on her own. You know, she was doing drugs and alcohol and all that. I found out were lies. I was lied to, and, you know, that could happen to you just as easily as anyone else. I mean, that's just coming from experience for me. I mean, in the end, you could find out that, like, say you believe, you know, one parent, say your dad, you believe your dad's the, you know, supreme, you know, best, you know, better parent because your mom left. And then you find out in the end, truth comes out, it's your mom. That's, you know, the better one. I mean, it just depends. It takes time for, you know, you to fully understand and get used to the situation. I mean, I'm still not used to it, and it's been like 2-3 years. You know? It's crazy. I mean, honestly, good things do come out of it sometimes. I mean, if you're lucky like me, your mom will find an amazing guy who becomes, you know, your stepdad, and then gives you 2 beautiful sisters. I mean, you never know. They're actually twins. They're a year old. They were a year old in July 11th. Yeah, July 11th. But yeah, and then, you know, it just depends on how things work out, how everything happens, you know, what all goes down. It just depends on the situation. You never know, you know. You just never know. Anyway, to clarify, three things that could happen while your parents got divorced is: 1, they drift apart; 2, they just get angry at each other and can't stand each other anymore and divorce; or actually, I'm gonna add another one here in a second. They cheat. One of them cheats on the other, or they both cheat on each other. I mean, the fourth one that I just thought of is your father abuses your mother, or, and yes, this can happen, your mother abuses your father. Yes, that is a thing. People say, oh, men can't be abused by women, but yes, they can. Believe it or not, they can. Some men don't fight back because they know it's wrong, but they can be abused by women. And yes, it is true. And then 3 things that could happen with the moving situation: one parent moves out, stays with someone else, and you stay with your other parent, shared custody. One gets full custody of you and the other doesn't. One keeps the house and one moves out. They both sell the house for their half of the value. One parent keeps the house, keeps everything, and kicks the other out. I mean, there's just so many different things that could happen. And I mean, you never know. But divorces are not fun. They're not fun to go through, especially if you have children. Because then they have to sit there and go through the pain of watching the parents. Like, my parents were together for 16 years. They were married for 16 years. So, watching that just break, after seeing them together for so long is like, so... Well, they were together for 16 years, yeah. Because they divorced 2-3 years ago, so I was like 12. It was halfway through 7th grade this happened, so I was about 12-ish. But yeah, divorces are not fun. And you never want it to happen to you. But if it does, it does. I used to be that person, like, oh yeah, my parents are together, they're never going to break apart. Well, look what happened. I spoke too soon. And there's been good things and bad things from it, but honestly, cope with it, go with the flow, and try your hardest to, if one parent badmouths the other, try to ignore it. Just deep down, hide it, ignore it, because honestly, if you want to, actually, if you're like my age, you can actually choose which parent you want to live with. I'm pretty sure you can. I've been told I can by lots of people, and I haven't chosen yet, but I'm probably going to soon. But just cope with it. Try to go with the flow. Listen and hear what both parents have to say about things. You never know. One parent could be lying and the other could be telling the truth, and you wouldn't know it. You just have to tell. You can tell which parent is the better one. But I've been rambling on long enough about this, so it's been pretty good. And remember, divorces are not fun. Again, they're not fun to go through, especially if you have children, because then they have to watch you, fall apart, yell, scream at each other. It's not fun. But other than that, that's about it. Next week's theme, I don't know what it is yet, but I'll make a video of it, of course. So, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.